So the next topic also involves the Trump administration. So Donald Trump is pushing to reopen schools, and he's pushing pretty aggressively to reopen schools, and this is almost to a reckless extent. He's threatening these schools to reopen, tweeting about other European countries that are business as usual, neglecting his own country and how we've dealt with this pandemic. So schools are underfunded anyway. They were underfunded before the pandemic happened anyway. So to rush these schools back into reopening, I don't think they're prepared for that yet. You have over 3 million cases of coronavirus as of earlier this week, I believe. And there's other alternatives to just reopening schools, full stop. You have Ivy League schools, Princeton. In the fall, they're having their freshmen and juniors attend on-campus classes. And then in the spring, they're going to flip-flop, switch sophomores and seniors. So that's an idea, a staggered student body that could work. You have Harvard, which is an extremely progressive, basically course of action that they took. Their entire school year is going to be online. The entire 2020-2021 school year for Harvard is going to be completely online, and that's also an idea. You don't have to go into these schools, and I mean, it just seems like this is something that he's trying to push to seem presidential, because he's been talking about nonsense for the past month and a half. He finally figures, I should probably pay attention to something that the public really cares about, which is education. We do care about education. So Trump did tweet about these European countries, and then he also threatened to cut funding. He didn't really specify what kind of funding he was going to cut, but you kind of assume that it's going to be public school funding, because that's really the only type of funding you can really cut. And so my opinion on this is that I feel that schools are a priority in terms of if you want to get the economy back on some type of normality. He is right in pushing for schools to be the priority, but he's reckless in the way he's trying to implement it. So I do agree that you should have schools open before like a restaurant or a gym, because it would give parents an opportunity to find a job, like realistically find a job, and be able to go and not worry about their child not being in a school or daycare. I agree with that, or continue to go back to their job that they were furloughed from or whatever. But there's just there's a priority before the schools open up, and that's dealing with the coronavirus. You can't just ignore that we have a pandemic in this country and case numbers keep rising. The country hit 3 million, and you want to open schools next month. So it just doesn't really add up. It doesn't really add up. It's a good idea. They I agree that they should open before theaters, bars, restaurants, just all that stuff, nightclubs. I am okay with retail. I'm okay with grocery stores, obviously, drugstores. The retail, even though it's not necessarily an essential job, you see places like Best Buy, AutoZone, or maybe not AutoZone, Home Depot, and Other places they offer contactless shopping. So you can go to a Kohl's, you can shop online, and they'll bring your product out for you. You don't even have to talk to them. You don't have to talk to them. You can just pop your trunk and they'll put it in there. You can't really do that at a restaurant. You have to dine in. You can't do that at a bar. You have to be in there. And I don't even think gyms should open whatsoever. Even with restaurants, you still have some open at half capacity or quarter capacity, but no gyms whatsoever. I don't think that gyms should be open until we have a vaccine, at least. And then that brings me to the other case, which is if Trump wants to rush schools back, then he should take the CDC guidelines seriously. And he should really be seriously working with the World Health Organization instead of trying to leave the World Health Organization. He can't have it both ways. If you're pushing for the economy to get back to normal and for schools to be reopened, you have to be serious about other people's intentions as well. You have to wear your mask. And if you don't want to wear your mask, then you shouldn't force people to have to go and work.